we have somebody sitting in the White House who's leading us down a shithole. I can't personally understand how a convicted felon, 34 felonious, is that word? Mm-hmm. Counts of wrongdoing, gets to be president. How do you do that?
All right, how long before Donald Trump calls this actor overrated? Yeah, a man whose voice is as iconic as his performances decided that it was time he weighed in on the current political landscape. Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman used a national television platform to harshly criticize the president this week. He sat down with staunch Trump critic Lawrence O'Donnell, and Freeman described Trump as, quote, leading us down a shithole. Not one to mince words. And he said that he couldn't understand how a, quote, convicted felon gets to be president.
How would you describe where we are now?
Can I use any profanity?
You can say whatever you want.
Well, we have somebody sitting in the White House who's leading us down a shithole. I can't personally understand how a convicted felon, 34 felonious, is that word? Mm-hmm. Counts of wrongdoing, gets to be president. How do you do that? I mean, you say, well, he was camped. I don't care. That ruling went down before he stepped into the Oval Office. So it just doesn't make sense to me.
His comments quickly went viral across social media, with those who hang on the every word of Kid Rock saying actors should just stick to acting. But jokes aside, Morgan Freeman's words didn't occur in a vacuum, right? They very much reflect the pulse of the nation at the moment. They come at a time where almost every poll, including those on Fox News, show that Trump's approval is underwater, with significant skepticism across independents and segments of his own coalition.
And trustworthy America, no, 70% of us. Is he mentally sharp enough to serve as president? That this is even a question asked about Trump, to me, feels like half the story. 56% of Americans, no. Is Donald Trump committed to protecting Americans' rights and freedoms? 56% of Americans, underwater, 13 points, no. Do you think Trump is using the presidency to enrich himself? 62%, yes. What gave it away? The Qatari jet? Has Trump exceeded his authority as president? 65%, yes. These are extraordinary numbers, but even more extraordinary are the questions. The narrative around Trump's presidency, the questions answer, is he grifting? In and of themselves, it's just an epic failure.
And he can't deflect to it coming from those with TDS, as he likes to say. You look at some conservative commentators and hosts on Fox News, they are also being forced to acknowledge the political and economic vulnerabilities.
So the economy, as Bill says, will loom very large in the president's address to the nation tonight. We got Brett Baer, anchor of Special Report, live on the set with us now. Brett, the perfect person to tell us everything we need to know about the speech. Let's start with the latest polls on the economy. We think it's where the president's going to leap off tonight. Latest polls out of Fox News show 40% of Americans approve of his handling of the economy to a 59% disapproval. Numbers pretty similar, up and down a couple of points from Washington Post and ABC News polls.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a focus on the economy. Good morning, Jillian. I think that there's going to be a real significant part of this speech that deals with what they see, what they passed with the big, beautiful bill, what people they believe, the administration believes, are starting to feel and will feel as the year progresses. That consumer confidence number is a good sign as you head into this speech because it was low. And there are people that are feeling pain from this economy, and and you see that in polls all up and down. The president's going to spend a lot of time on the economy, but he has a full plate of issues to deal with. Iran, the fallout from Venezuela. He will react to the Supreme Court and the tariffs, and you wonder how that's going to go with the Supreme Court justices, several of them in the front row, listening to the speech. So it'll be fascinating to see. expect these stories weaving in all of these elements with real people as examples, because the president has done that before and he will do it again.
Let's begin with the latest read on inflation. This is important, and it's probably moving markets. It's the producer price report. It came in hotter than expected. Prices up 2.9% over the last 12 months. Now look at the core number. This pulls out the volatile prices for food and energy. Prices up a whopping 3.6% in the last 12 months. That is the highest reading since March of 2025. Now, look at Dow's. That's affecting futures. Go back to the boards there. We're down 526 now on the Dow, down 235 on the NASDAQ. Fortunately, we have David Barnson with me this morning to explain things. Is this sell-off anything to do with inflation, or is it the air coming out of AI again?
Yes, it's a combination of both.
both.
I think probably the NASDAQ is more related to air out of AI. And then remember, if the inflation number runs hot, they assume interest rates might not come down as much. That affects the valuation of expensive AI, tech, NASDAQ things. So they're connected to it. This PPI number was not good.
No, it's not. It's not encouraging at all, is it?
And you can't ignore it, right? To the point that, yeah, cultural figures and civic leaders outside traditional political circles are stepping into public discourse with sharp critique.
And to stop from losing power in the midterm elections. I won't list the ways because we don't know all the ways he'll try to steal the election. Remember that this guy tried to overthrow the government by violently attacking the Capitol on January 6th. Who saw that coming? And that was just a rehearsal for what's likely to come. Who's going to stop him? Yes. Who is going to stop him? We, the people. Because we are the only ones who can stop him. Like you, I'm filled with anger and outrage. But I'm saved from total despair by rays of hope. And I'm very careful these days about using the word hope, because I've seen so many of our hopes for our country destroyed. But there's no reason to think we're not up to the challenge.
And listen, man, the hypocrisy is so rife with those who bend the knee to a billionaire former reality TV star, dismissing opinions from Hollywood elites like De Niro and Morgan Freeman, while rushing to retweet John Voight and Kid Rock. But to the broader point of artists or athletes sticking to their respective field, it's not only idiotic, right? But when you look at history, some of the most prominent movements were built on the backs of artists and athletes. From Muhammad Ali to the 1968 Mexico Olympics, where prominent figures like John Carlos and Tommy Smith were pioneers of protest and civic discourse, using their platform to speak out on current events. And those very icons were hated during the time in which they decided to speak out, only to be revered in the years to come. And I strongly believe that Colin Kaepernick will be looked at in the same way. And I respect those like Morgan Freeman who refuse to sit idly by because their line of work is considered more glamorous, especially at a time when speaking out against the president doesn't exactly come free from consequences. Just ask Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert.
Congressman Pat Fallon from Texas, he was on Fox News. Listen to this, because it's just bonkers.
So this has never been done before, and a former president's never been compelled to appear before Congress. Is this where this is all heading as of today?
Well, we've never had a former president either this close to a convicted felon either. I mean, it's problematic.
We never had a former president this close to a convicted felon. We have a current president who is a convicted felon. 34 times.
I think we can all agree, guys. Now,
and when cultural figures speak out, they can also help shape public frameworks for interpreting political events. Freeman's critique here, bold, personal, and unapologetic, introduces a moral and civic lens into what otherwise might have been a narrowly political debate. And when such commentary aligns with the broader polling signals of widespread public dissatisfaction, then it flies in the face of this idea that this is just some elite Hollywood actor speaking out of turn when in fact it coincides with what the American people are feeling. It reinforces perceptions of a leadership deficit at the moment, not just policy disagreement. And Morgan Freeman went on to call for the younger generation to vote, which underscores that this isn't only a matter of opinion, it's also a call to action.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.